Welcome back to another early adopter video. This one is going to be on my first glossary. Glossaries are extremely important in project delivery so that everyone understands what the terms mean and what they can do in project delivery. So let's get started. There are two different types of glossaries in Sparx today. One of is a project-based glossary, or what they refer to as a project glossary. And we're going to go to the Design tab, far right under Dictionary panel, Glossary. Let's go ahead and select it. So this particular project has this extensive glossary for implementation. And we'll cover more of this in just a moment. The Project Glossary was introduced in 2007 for version 7 and is a centralized dialogue list for defining terms and their meanings. So it's accessible in the glossary window. This window can be placed off in other monitors and moved around. You can go into a full view and you can manage any of your glossary items that are here. So if we double click on this, we're able to edit the content within the glossary window for the project glossary. Let's switch over to a blank project. There is absolutely nothing in here. If we go to design and we go over here to glossary, you can see it's completely blank. So to add a term in here, you just simply right click, add new, and let's add in capability. And then come in here and give it a definition. And then we have to give it a type. So there are no types in here right now. So you're going to hit set. You have a dialog box to do a type. And let's just development or delivery, whatever this term type category falls in. We're going to hit OK. And then we are going to hit OK. And now we have this term added to our project glossary. Let's go ahead and cancel out of this. Let's go to start and search model. Come down to my searches, and I wrote a SQL, very simple for glossary. Let's go ahead and look at the SQL, and you can see select everything from the T glossary table. Let's go ahead and look at it. So there's just one item in here, and we can do all sorts of things that you've learned about in search to access this. The point I'm trying to make is project glossaries are stored in the T glossary table in Sparx, where model-based glossary, the elements are stored in the T object table, and I'll show you that in a moment. Let's go ahead and leave the search up here. What we're going to do is add a model-based glossary. So we're over in the browser. There is nothing in here, and we are going to add a package, and we're just going to call this, I'm going to call it glossary, something like that, and then we get to choose a type. I want it to be the cover page for my model-based glossaries. So I'm just going to create a class diagram. You can choose any diagram you type based on the elements that you want. So there we go. Now we have that. Within glossaries, I'm going to create another package and I'm going to call it development. And then we're going to hit that and the create model builder, diagram builder, if you will, comes up. And we're going to search for glossary within our choices. And we're going to use glossary diagram, which has glossary and category. So what we're going to do is go with glossary, see what that looks like. And you can see in the toolbox, we just get glossary catalog. Let's create another diagram in here. We're going to create just a diagram this time. And we're going to use category and then look at the toolbox. In this, we get the glossary catalog element and the glossary entry element. So let's go back to, in this one, they're both called the same thing. And I am going to drop in an entry and call it capability. And then we'll use the same definition for capability and then hit OK. So you can see in this particular case, this element is a class element. Let's go ahead and double click and open it up. It is a class element that has been stereotyped glossary entry. So if you go to edit, glossary entry is the stereotype applied, and then the Sparx platform takes advantage of that extensibility and gives it this look and feel. So let's drop in a glossary catalog into the same diagram, and let's just call it development. Now we have a package right here, stereotyped glossary category. And then what we're going to do is take capability, find it in the browser, and we are going to put it in this glossary category. Let's double click and open this up, drag this element into here as a link. And here it is properly set as the right stereotype, okay? This is very important to understand because if you don't have the stereotype set, it's not going to pick it up and give you the benefits of things like design, glossary. Let's view the glossary. You look here, we have capability in a type development, and then you see the model item is true, meaning this is a model-based term. And here, this is a project-based term, and you don't want to have duplicates. So make sure you have the right governance in place to ensure that modelers, when they're creating their terms, are doing them in the right tool for the right reason. So I blew everything out, and what we're going to do is do this from scratch again, slower, so that you understand the steps. So step one is create some sort of cover page that represents all of your model-based glossaries. The second thing is create a package that's in here for development. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. One is we're going to call this development glossary and then create a diagram. And in the diagram, we're going to choose glossary, create, and then we're going to drag in a glossary catalog in here and give it a name, development terms. And then in here, we're going to double click it, open it up. The package has a diagram in it. You have the tools here to either add more categories for deeper dives or add an element. And then we're going to add an element, again, capability, and then we're going to open it up, add the term definition in here. And notice the stereotype for this element is glossary entry, and we're going to hit OK. So you see the same thing. Now, in this glossary entry, we have the package. Here's the package, has its own diagram with the elements. And then the reason for the cover page is I can open the cover page up. It's blank, and you've all learned how to build cover pages. Development glossary. I'm going to drag this in as a navigation cell, and I'm not going to choose anything for it. Just going to leave it plain vanilla. And now in this one, if I double click it, I'm drilling down to all of the glossary categories for development. And if there's more development type terms, like you might, in development, you might bring in architecture. You might bring in business architecture, something like that. And you may have multiple categories within the glossary or the development glossary namespace. And then with that, double click it, blank diagram. You can add an entry in here, platform, and so on. Now, I'm not going to add a definition because I want to show something next. Let's go to Design tab. We'll go over to Glossary. We'll launch that again. And here we have our new terms. So you have a term in here called capability within a type. There is no indication. It's not true that it's model-based. It's project-based. And it has the type development. What we did here for this term is put it in a namespace or type development terms. And then here we created another category called architecture, and we put platform in it, and nothing was added to it. It is blank. You can actually manage your content from the Project Glossary window in order to have two different ways to manage your content. So you can either do it from here or wherever the term platform is. In the case platform is here, it is blank, there's nothing in it. If we're coming over here, we double click it and we open it up. We put in our definition for platform, we hit OK, and it's not going to show up until we refresh. Let's go ahead and hit glossary again. And now it is populated. The meaning of platform is populated. And then the interesting thing is we go over to architecture, it is now populated here as well. Now, these elements can get rather hard to read. And there's a couple of things that you can do. Let me resize this like that, something like that. That's as small as this is going to get. It's kind of an eye chart here, right? You can imagine if you had dozens that were in here. There's a couple of things you can do. You can right click in here, you can go switch views and go to specification view. Go ahead and save, thank you. And you're looking at it in this view, it becomes much easier to manage your metadata as well as the content for each term. And of course you get all of the capabilities to filter and change what columns you want to see and so on. So we're going to go back. Another interesting thing is when you're using model-based glossaries is that you can double click here in the diagram, go to diagram properties, always open in specification. You can choose list, Gantt, but we always want to use specification. List is a little bit different. So now when this diagram is opened, it doesn't open in that other view. If I switch views from here, go back to graphical, it doesn't open in this view. It opens in the specification view automatically. And I picked the wrong view. Specification view automatically. You can do a lot more with model-based glossaries than the basic glossaries, but it requires a little bit of modeling experience. Let's go to our cover page here. We added the architecture. Let's bring it in. Let's use navigation cell. We won't pick an image and set it over here. You can do things like layout. You can change the font color, background color. Let's change the background color to something like that. And then the letter or font color, let's move that to white. Let's go to change the font. We're going to go bold 16. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to copy this style, apply it to this one. And you can build out a cover page that allows you to very quickly get to other glossaries, because this is going to get really large, especially if you're in a big company or enterprise. For example, if you go to a real world asset repository, and knowledge is an asset, probably one of the most important assets within your knowledge management repository, you'll manage your terms and definitions. So we're going to go to glossaries. You can create this tile set here that allows you to very quickly get to particular knowledge very quickly and actually start managing it from here. So this is a lot more complicated than going to design and simply launching glossary. Here we have the model-based terms that are exposed to the glossary, allowing others to actually manage that terminology going forward. So you have two different ways of managing your content, your intelligence, your terms. So model-based intelligence, I think, is the best way to provide the definitions for your glossary, your terms, your intelligence, and then use that. Because this tool here is easy for folks to read, parse, filter, and understand. And if you allow them, even edit, versus coming into a particular view like this and trying to understand, well, how did they get to that? How is that managed? You're saying things like, well, these are elements that are managed. So if I switch views, these are graphical elements that are managed and not just a flat file where the terms are managed here. So one more time, let's go to Find in Project. We basically are able to filter and search our T_glossary table. If you're familiar with SQL and the Sparx SQL tool, let's run another SQL that I created for model-based terms. And you can see in this particular case, the SQL is we're looking in the T object table, not the T glossary table. And we're looking for anything that's stereotyped as glossary entry. Let's go ahead and hit search. And now you can see the glossary entries that we did for both capability and platform that are in here. So congratulations, you just did my first glossary. You learned how the glossary elements are managed, whether in the T glossary table or the T object table. You've learned how to build cover sheets to quickly access your glossaries. You've learned what the different stereotypes are, such as glossary category and the ability to put entries underneath that, glossary entries underneath those categories. You've learned how to switch views on diagrams to specification view to make it easier. You can switch to other views so they automatically load that way. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was this is your default view. So you got a glossary entry element. It's a class element that's been transformed due to this stereotype here. One of the things you can do, let's move this out here to the center. Let's right click on it. Let's go to appearance, behavior, change it to or enable info view. We're going to right click on it again. And because it's in info view, we can now access info view properties and then come in here. I don't need to see type, stereotype. I don't need that icon up there in the upper right, but I do want to see status because you're doing governance. You're moving glossaries that are terms that are being provided to the team through a governance board for review. So they'll go from proposed to implemented at some point. So we're going to turn on status. You always want to see the author of a particular term. They now become responsible for managing the life cycle of that term. And we're going to leave notes in here. So this becomes a better view for graphical purposes. And then later on, if you wish, you can switch to have this diagram here open in specification view. I hope this episode was helpful for you. I've been getting a lot of questions about glossary and managing intelligence, and we're going to be doing a lot more of this as we advance in the channel. So thanks again for watching. Please leave comments, questions below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, maybe produce other video or include your questions in future videos. So until then, happy modeling.